All right, so we decided to do a breakdown video here on our core line steels. This is a brand new line from Baker Forge & Tool that we are offering in 2026. This is part of our new initiative and new things that we're adding to the company in this year. And this is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. A core line of steels. These are steels that are always going to be in stock. They're going to be produced in a lot more volume, and they're going to have a standardized set of sizing. So this video is all about breaking down what we're going to offer in the core line and how we're able to produce it at this economical price point, and then all the specs on the steels itself. So without further ado, let's jump into the core line steels. So what steels are going to be offered in the core line? These materials are going to be specifically ones we can produce in high volume. So you're going to see a lot of our regular carbon Damascus and some more basic patterns like twist, raindrop, and stuff like that. You're also going to see some of our more baseline copper laminated steels, such as copper shim GoMais, DarkMai, and things like double Damascus as well. These patterns and steels lend themselves to a lot easier production on scale. They're a lower layer count, they're easier to set up, and they utilize components that are used in our other higher end steels. They're just not as processed as far. And so we can capture and make a whole bunch of, example, cladding material in a 25 layer Damascus in a massive volume and pull from that to make core line steels. And then the rest goes on to further production into our more premium steels. So the core line is specifically more budget friendly. These are steels we're making at volume, and we're able to produce them at a lower cost for several factors. Baker Forge has been growing here in our machine capabilities. We added a ton of processing and machines in 2025, leading up to the stainless production lines. But we realized we always wanted to offer steels at a much more budget friendly price point for those makers who are just maybe getting into the craft or making things on a lower end budget. So we've decided to tackle this project and look at the production model that we currently had and revamp a production model specifically for this line of steels. This isn't going to change the higher end stuff like the Firestorms or the Riptides or anything like that. Those are all going to stay the same, and they're going to be made very custom. Those drop batches are going to stay the same with a wide variety of high tolerance sizes. But the core line steels are going to be made in more generic sizes. They're going to be fixed lengths, they're going to be fixed widths, they're going to be fixed series of thicknesses. We'll get into those details in a little bit later on in the video. But this all lends itself to much easier production when we don't have to do a whole bunch of varied sizes. We can stick to very exact starting pieces that yield an exact starting or exact finishing amount of material. We're able to further cut costs by just maximizing the yield of the steels instead of having all the extra loss that comes with doing batches with a wide variety of sizes and thickness offerings. So we're able to save there, and we're directly passing those savings to the customer. Obviously, the more you make in bulk, the more your fixed cost gets spread out over more product. Fixed costs being stuff like propane, electricity, machine wear and tear, those things. Any fixed costs don't grow really with a larger batch. They just those costs get diluted across more product. So overall, the core line steels will have less of the crazy patterning, but we get a lot of feedback from people who want the more simpler stuff like the DarkMais. They just want black core, black cladding with that nice standout copper shim, or low layer Damascus GoMai over a 80 CRV2 core, or some wrought iron sand mai. Stuff we can do in much larger volume, and we can create a lot quicker without having to do all the crazy complicated steps of making something complex. So let's break down the sizing options here. As I mentioned before, these are going to be fixed sizes that you select from, and they're going to always be kept in stock. We'll talk about keeping things in stock here in a minute as well, but with the sizing options, instead of us doing a drop where there's a large volume and every single billet is slightly different, to cover the bases of everybody who uses slightly different stock thicknesses, in the core lines, we are going to have fixed sizes. So you're going to have fixed lengths of 14 inch, 12 inch, 10 inch, and 8 inch. In some steels, we may omit the 14 inch and opt for some more smaller pieces as well. But in general, it's going to be 14 to 8 inch range of sizes in length. Widths are going to be mostly 2 1/4 because that is our by far most popular width size. We will offer some down the road potentially in more of a 3-inch, so you kind of have a 2-inch and a 3-inch width. But for now, starting out, it's going to be 2 1/4. Thicknesses, we're going to start with our most populars, and that's going to be 1/8 inch and 3/16. We, of course, will probably add 1/4 inch down the road as well. But for these first big, large volume batches that we've run already, we produce those in the most popular sizes, which is 3/16 and 1/8. Now, let's talk about tolerance. As far as width and length, tolerances are going to be pretty much on point. But for thicknesses, we're going more to the model that you see when you buy regular bar stock online from other knife making supplying warehouses and steel shops. These steels will not be listed with a very specific thickness down to 1/1000th of an inch as we do with our regular drops. These are going to be listed as 1/8 inch and 3/16, and those are going to have a tolerance. So they're going to be plus or minus a few thou. Most of them are going to be actually proud of that dimension to give you room to work down a little bit. Almost all of those steels will be proud by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thou, somewhere in there. It's going to be larger. It's going to be oversized stock, as you would see from a more traditional steel mill. That just helps us in the processing side. It's a way faster process to do that and to simply grind large batches in all at once instead of working on getting very specific thicknesses all the way down to a certain thousandth. So they're going to be more universally sized in their thicknesses. Still pretty much right on in the grand scheme of things. Thickness wise, it's pretty much exactly what you want. It's just normally going to be a little bit over. So always something to keep in mind. We will have the details on that in the listings, but that's kind of the wrap on sizing. While we're on the topic of billet sizes, I did want to real quickly address a question that I know will come up. Is Billet Services still offered on the core line steels? And the answer is yes. You can purchase a billet of whatever in the core line of steels, and you can add a billet service to your cart and request it to be rolled thinner or thicker or surface ground. That is an additional service we've always offered with our steels, and it does apply to the core line. You obviously do pay for that service, so that would be in addition to the billet itself, but that is offered. If you have a much tighter tolerance needed on your project, and you're going to buy a piece of steel that's slightly oversized, then we can obviously, you add the billet service, check out, specify exactly what dimension you want, and we will make sure it is exactly where you need it. So we do offer billet services in the core line of steels. So will these steels still perform? Are there any corners being cut? Well, the answer is absolutely not. Baker Forge, we do not cut corners. What we're doing here is we are reducing our overhead costs on steels. All of the billets are still going to come fully annealed, fully flat ground, edges perfectly clean, no ink cuts on it, no junk steel on it whatsoever. You are still getting the same billet condition that you're used to seeing from Baker Forge. These are just going to be at a much better price point due to our changes in our production models. So nothing is being cut corners here. The alloys themselves are all the same alloys we've been using. The Damascus is 1084 and 15 and 20, 80 CRV2 and 1084 cores. All of the alloys are the same. We are not changing steel suppliers. We're not sourcing any Chinese steels or weird alloys from somewhere for a way cheaper price. We are still using the stock that we use in all of our premium lines. So yes, your steels will still perform just as they always have. So what about availability? One of the massive perks of this core line of steels is that we're always going to have them in stock and available to order. That's part of the perks. We're going to have a massive batch of this stuff made. In fact, a bunch of them are already made, and we're going to be keeping that batch completely in stock. As it starts getting low, we're going to make a whole nother big batch to stock it before it runs out. And so you're always gonna be able to go to the website and order these steels at any time. You don't have to wait for drops. You don't have to wait for your steel to come around on the schedule. They will always be available when you need them. Every once in a while, you're gonna maybe catch us in between production batches if it's, something sells real quick and we don't have the next big batch ready just yet. You still will be able to purchase the steels. It just may have a note that's saying, hey, we're looking at like a 5 to 6 day lead time on the shipping. But you will still be able to purchase your steel there. But for the most part, they will always stay in stock across the board. Do we offer custom orders for the steels that are in the core line? Well, the answer is yes, we do, but there's a caveat. So any of these steels you see in the core line, we get a lot of people who order our steels custom. They want batches of the steels made at their custom size, and we've been doing that for years. We will offer that in the core line, but here's the catch. Due to a custom order, typically only being a handful of bars or 10, 15 bars, it's not near the quantity that we need in order to make it at that price point. So the cost of a custom order of a core line bar may be more expensive. In fact, it most likely will be more expensive due to it having a much tighter tolerance. Custom orders, they always specify a very specific thickness that requires more work. We're also making way less of it, way less volume. And so the prices aren't going to be the same. If you're going to order a core line steel in a custom order, you are going to pay more than if you bought our standard core line steels off the website. So something to keep in mind. If you just have to have that steel and you love it so much, we will definitely run a custom batch for you. It may just cost a little bit more. To figure out how much more, just reach out to Baker Forge on the website. Go under custom orders tab, fill out your custom orders request and send it in, and we'll quote it for you there. And you can see exactly what it would cost for you to get a custom bulk order of a core line steel. So that pretty much wraps up all the details on the brand new core line of steels from Baker Forge. We're super excited to bring this to the industry. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. We will have a bunch of those steels with us at Blade Show in June, so be sure to swing by there and see us as well. These steels are live on the website. If they're not website live now, they will be in a day or two. Check our Instagram page and Facebook for more updates on that. But we wanted to do a full video to kind of go through all the details of this line because we think it's so important and that our community is going to really love these options. So we'll be adding to this line as we go. We're starting to kick off with, I don't think it's 3 or 4 patterns that we're doing straight away. And we're going to add to this line as we go, And if you guys have recommendations on what you want to see in the core line options, go ahead and drop a comment down below or send us a message on Instagram, send us an email, whatever you want to do. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can get updates on what's going on with Baker Forge. We have a lot of stuff planned for the coming weeks, including a video on a full shop tour. We have not done a shop tour in a very long time here at Baker Forge, and we just filmed one a little while back, and it's going to go up here shortly. So stay tuned for that. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.